stand for pledge of allegiance.
Action.
And a moment of silence.
Oh, you got it.
We're ready. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Mount Olive Township Council meeting and workshop for July 10th, 2018. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for all those that made the sacrifice that serve and protect us. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Michelle, would you read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act would notice that this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda. Mr. Ferrante.
Here.
Mrs. Labow.
Here.
Mr. Mania.
Here.
Mr. Stewart.
Here.
Mr. Roman.
Here.
Mr. Nicastro.
Here. I'd like to recognize we have Alex Kalin here, correct? Going for the Citizenship Award?
Yes.
And his sister Ellie, right? Welcome. Congratulations. First item for discussion is the Cablevision of Morris Plains renewal application. So,
Hi, everybody. Andrew is unable to be here tonight, unfortunately, so I'll just give you a brief overview. One of your cable franchise agreements is up for renewal. This is a highly regulated statutory process. It's like a 3-year process. It takes a very long time. We're in the municipal consent phase. So tonight, there's going to be hearing in the public session because it has to be on the record. The applicant advises that they will be here to testify and kind of give a presentation about their proposal. It's an opportunity for anyone in the public to ask questions or for council to ask questions. And this is to obtain municipal consent. There's no decision that will be made today. You'll need to issue a decision, I believe, within 30 days. And the administrator has already been negotiating with the cable company as much as they can. Matt?
Yeah, a couple things. I've had a lot of questions from people. This is not an opportunity to change out cable companies. It's highly regulated by the BPU. It really deals with the fact that we are wed to Cablevision for this particular geographical area that they actually service. And it's our opportunity to address some of the issues that the residents or the township has identified through the course of the year. So for instance, if we felt that different, like Comcast was better to serve this area of the town, that's not within our prerogative. This is simply our ability to deal with a cable provider that is provided for us by way of the BPU approval. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's absolutely accurate. And so once the hearing is over, we'll close the hearing. Then within a certain period of time, the council will have to reach a decision. And then I'll draft an ordinance that will probably be very similar to what you already have on the books. And we'll have to send that to BPU for approval. Then it will go to the cable company, and then it will get signed off, and it'll basically be done. And then when your other cable provider comes up, we'll go through the same process again. So that's basically what will happen.
I suggest anyone up here that has any issues that they want Andrew to deal with Cablevision, just send him something via email addressing the issue that you want him to address with the cable provider.
And I know 2 things he's already discussed with them is a possible senior citizen discount, and there was also a grant, I believe you discussed in your memo, that they have indicated they're willing to consider again, so we can ask them about that.
okay. Anyone else?
Great.
We have 7 resolutions. Does anyone have any questions or comments on resolutions 1 through 7?
Nope.
Seeing none, we have 2 readings for first readings, 2 ordinances rather, for first readings. Does anyone have any questions on those? Don't see any there. Does anyone have any old business? Does anyone have any new business? Mr. Roman?
Mr. Mayor, as you were heading into the building today, I noticed you had a little bit of a difficulty aiding somebody into the building, which brought to mind that we should come up with ways to make it a whole lot easier for those residents that are wheelchair bound that arrive at town hall without the aid of somebody else. Either a remote button to swing the doors open, or an intercom system where, in which case maybe the police department could swing the doors open. I understand it would be expensive, but I think this is the first time that I witnessed somebody in a wheelchair getting a little bit of difficulty getting into the building.
That's not a bad point, certainly raise that. You have something?
We're in the process of doing those now. We've got prices for the front main doors, which we're
Okay.
doing this year, and moving forward, we're going to do the other doors also, and at the senior building. So it's something that we do recognize and something we're moving forward with.
Okay, good, excellent.
Good job.
Thank you.
And when it's done, I'll take credit.
And you know what, just for good purpose, I'll start wheeling Kelly around the building until I find other issues.
Wow, what a guy.
Any other new business?
No.
Seeing none, does anyone from the public wish to be heard at this time? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Open the Mount Olive Township Council meeting for July 10th, 2018. Michelle, would you read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda, Mr. Ferrante,
Here.
Mrs. Labow,
Here.
Mr. Mania,
Here.
Mr. Stewart,
Here.
Mr. Roman,
Here.
Mr. Nacastro.
Here. I don't see the representative here from Cablevision yet, so we're going to move that public hearing to the end, move it along to when he gets here. So, Mr. Ferrante, would you approve the minutes from the previous meetings, June 26, 2018, workshop and public meeting, please?
Sure, I make a motion to approve the June 26, 2018 workshop, public meeting, and closed session minutes.
Second.
I'll give her a time. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante,
Yes.
Mrs. Labow,
Yes.
Mr. Mania,
Abstain.
Mr. Mania,
Yes.
Mr. Stewart,
Yes.
Mr. Roman,
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro.
Yes. We have 18 pieces of correspondence. Does anyone have any issues with those? Next item on the agenda for first reading is ordinance number 21-2018 with a second reading of July 24th, 2018. An ordinance of the Township of Mount Olive, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 169, Dogs and Other Animals of the Township Code to establish a position of municipal humane law enforcement officer. Mrs. Laybow.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that ordinance number 21-2018 be introduced by title and passed on first reading, and that a meeting will be held on July 24, 2018 at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, for a public hearing, consideration of second reading, and passage of said ordinance, and that the clerk be directed to publish, post, and make available said ordinance in accordance with the requirements of law.
Second.
Any council discussion? Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante,
Yes.
Mrs. Labow.
Yes.
Mr. Mania.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
Mr. Roman.
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro.
Yes. Next item on the agenda for first reading is ordinance number 22-2018, an ordinance of the Township of Mount Olive, amending ordinance number 26-17, which established salaries for mayor, council, department heads, supervisory personnel, and employees of the Township Clerk's Office. Mr. Mania.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that ordinance number 22-2018 be introduced by title and passed on first reading, and that a meeting be held on June 24, 2018 at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Building,
July.
204 Flanders Drakestown.
July 24th.
July 24th, I'm sorry. For a public hearing, consideration of second reading and passage of said ordinance, and that the clerk be directed to publish, post, and make available said ordinance in accordance with the requirements of the law.
Second.
Council discussion? Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, close to the public. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante,
Yes.
Mrs. Labow.
Yes.
Mr. Mania.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
Mr. Roman.
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro.
Yes. We have 7 consent resolutions. Anyone wish to move any to non-consent? Seeing none, Mr. Stewart, would you move resolutions 1 through 7?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move for adoption and final passage, consent resolutions 1 through 7.
Second.
Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, close to the public. Any council concern, questions? None, roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante,
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Mr. Roman, would you please move the bill list?
I make a motion, we approve the bill list.
Second.
Anyone from the public wish to be heard on the bill list? Seeing none, close to the public. Anyone from council have anything on the bill list? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Administrative reports.
I'll be
Yeah,
quick.
I just have one thing
Okay,
too.
go ahead.
Andrew and I would just like to ask council to, starting in the future, if there are any requests or concerns you get from residents regarding potholes or any other road conditions, if we could refer them to the township website, to the service request section. Once it gets entered in there, if it's a work order number, it's much easier for the town to keep track of. It's easier for the residents to call and for us to help them keep track of it. It's hard when they're all over Facebook for us to keep track of what's being done and not done. So if you could just help us push them in that direction, it would really help us and it would help the residents as well.
Yeah,
with the-
on the same note, sorry, on the same note, I would like, Tim, I'd like a weekly report of pothole work orders that are submitted, the status of those which have been filled, so that, and I'd like that circulated to everybody up here so that we all have the same information. Obviously, it's been a big issue on all of the social media. I recognize that you guys are doing more with less. I know that you're down one guy, you have 8 guys doing the entire town. 7 now, it's 8, isn't it? Seven. And including brush pickup and all the other things that the road department does. It's hard to actually communicate that to the community, but if we could, I agree with Claudia, push everybody into the work order, and then you give us a weekly update in terms of, these are the work orders that are still open, which came in, these are the ones that have been filled. That would be extremely helpful to everybody up here.
With that in mind, I would request if you can create a tiny URL and then submit it to all of us so that way,
Sure.
as things come up, we can just put that tiny URL in and that'll direct somebody exactly
Yeah,
to where,
It's very easy to find too, like, it's MountOliveTownship.com and it's right on the, but I
You'd
know.
be
I will
amazed.
I know, but I will definitely send it to you,
You'd
although
be
it's,
amazed.
it's easy to
And-
remember too, Mount Olive Township all spelled out.
Right, and the other issue, I thought a while ago we discussed about creating like an interactive map that kind of outlines the streets that have been paved, will be paved, and it was going to be color, coordinated, so that way
Yeah.
people at least have an idea of like, okay, all right, 2018 is my year.
It doesn't necessarily work that way. That's the thing that I'm a little bit concerned about. Every year, although we have plans to do certain areas of town, obviously, the main roads take priorities over other areas of, inside the neighborhoods. So that in a particularly bad year, the paving that's actually going to be done becomes prioritized again. So if you put out information that somebody's neighborhood is going to get repaved, it may not be the case, and you may be able.
Right, but I'm thinking more of something that's constantly updated, so where you go back and it gets changed.
Yeah, the problem with that, Alex, is that once you put the information out that someone's road is being repaved and then it doesn't become repaved because of a reallocation of resources, it's a problem. And so it really, DPW has an idea as to where they want to go, and DPW is the one who decides what gets paved. It's no one, the audience should recognize it's no one sitting up here. It is simply a review of the township roads and an allocation of resources to those roads which DPW deems are most in need of repaving.
And I completely understand the problems that brings up, but I think right now what we have is no information whatsoever. So I think if we give residents some information, we can always dial that back. We can always say if it ends up like it creates more problems than not, we can always dial it back.
I'll give it some thought. I'm not inclined to do it, but I'll give it some thought, and I'll let you know what my thought process is afterwards.
Mayor nailed it. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Come fall, we have our tentative list. Come April, that list will change. I mean, a good example is Bringing Back Lane. After the water lines went in, the repairs of the roadway were not suffice enough for actual good travel. Even though the contractor did what they were supposed to do, the road is aged, and just the wear and tear on it push that one up on the list that it has to be done this year. That being said, it knocks a different area out of the list. So if we publicize what we're planning on doing early on, you will have an outcry from people that are not going to be happy when their road is taken off the list.
Right, but
Once
again-
we get to this point right now, we have the contractor scheduled to come in, our firm list is out. I mean, right now, it's a done deal, it's where it is.
I don't have a problem putting that out at all.
Right, because that's solid, that's not changing once we get to this point. And things continually change, as the mayor said, it's
Right, but I speaking as if I was a resident, I would like to, I would be interested, or at least maybe my frustration would be assuaged if I saw a map of the township where our township crews are doing this, they're taking this, and it's not like, oh, they're not doing anything.
I could do it, I'm working on the map,
At.
I'm working on the map because you asked for it before, of past projects, year to year, as to the areas that we've done. That you're going to get. I mean, that is areas that have been completed already, so you can kind of get a schematic of the entire town and what we've been doing over the past 5, 6, 8 years with the paving program, and you can see how it's increased and decreased with the budgets that we get. Putting something down that hasn't happened yet, I'm totally against it. It's just not going to work.
We'll come up with something that everyone can agree with. I agree 100% that putting out the information to the residents is the best thing that we can do. As you know, anytime that I can communicate any information that I believe to be true and accurate, I'm in favor of doing that. But in this particular case, when you talk about repaving, you cannot do it earlier than the time frame that it's been set in stone, which is where we are now with this year's paving. I could give you, I mean, I could circulate to the council Tim's list as to where he thinks he's gonna get next year, but putting it out to the public doesn't necessarily benefit anybody, in my mind. Because it may not happen, and it may not happen the year after, because it becomes a reallocation of resources based upon particular road conditions.
Good, thank you.
Anything else from administration? Nothing? Okay.
Oh, I do, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I was gonna say, Mayor, I didn't hear you yet.
Sorry. Obviously, the carnival is this week, so we're really excited, and it looks like for the first time in a long
Don't
time,
jinx it.
Weather's gonna be good.
the weather's gonna be good, yes. So fireworks without rain will be Saturday night. I expect that there's gonna be an excellent turnout if people can get there without having to travel on Route 206. So far, the complaints with respect to Route 206 are small. We've had some businesses that we've tried to help in light of the detour. I asked Andrew today whether or not he's heard, and I don't know if you've heard, Tim, of any change in their plan in terms of when they're going to complete the plan. I didn't hear of any. Are they on target still?
Yeah, they're on schedule. I mean, the only issue that would have came up with them was rain, and we're not having any.
Dry, high and dry.
So as far as we know, they are on schedule. They've given us the 9-day window, and I see no reason why they should not meet that.
Right, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think if I recall from the meeting that they get penalized financially
After
if
9
they were to
days.
go after.
Yes,
the,
after 9 days, they get heavily fined if it's not completed. So they have a lot hanging in the balance. They're working 24/7. You know, it's not just a daytime or nighttime crew. They're going day and night. So
The traffic's good, the lights are working well. We
Yeah.
came down the back
Traffic,
way.
except-
Traffic lights and temporary lights are good.
Except Flanders Bartley Road coming into the turn to come across 206 is
206 is still-
significantly impacted.
Oh, over there, okay, I came the other way through
Because
Chester.
everything comes down from 206
Significantly
in.
impacted. But you know what can you do?
It's another few,
outside of our
we're already
control.
almost a week, what is the week is gonna be, it's this week is the week.
16th.
Yeah, so they're getting close.
I have to
Yes.
say, on the plus side, when you're on 206, like when I bring my granddaughter to the dance studio down there on 2:30 or 3:30, 206, it's the first time ever I've actually been able to make left-hand turns out
You
there.
can make a turn
I'm like,
out.
oh, wow, this is great, you know, so there's always an upside to every situation.
And the last thing that I have to say is, as I came across the bridge at River Road in Flanders Drakestown, I thought to myself, and I said to Kelly, what a beautiful job. It was delayed, but what a beautiful job they did at the end of the day. Really is a
Yeah.
plus for Mount Olive Township. And if you haven't been to the pool is, I have gotten so many compliments from people about the pool. And I understand today, Joe, you attended a donation of
Yeah.
umbrellas,
Yes.
and that was
From
from
the
Autosport.
Correct. Very
And
nice.
what was it, about 10 umbrellas?
I think a dozen umbrellas they gave. Was
For
it
the
really
beach
nice?
and for,
The pool.
yeah, do you have an update on the beach? Do you know what's going on with
That was nice, Joe.
Yeah, it was a very nice thing they did.
the algae?
Algae blooms?
Yeah.
No, we're good so far.
Okay, the
Yep,
test
open.
all
They're
came-
testing came back fine.
All right, good.
Yep,
So
no,
it's
everything's
open.
good,
It's-
open,
It's
safe to
open.
swim.
Okay, good. That's it.
Very good, thank you. Any old business? Any new business? Any legal matters?
Nothing to report tonight, thank you.
And we'll do the council reports, and then we'll move on to the representative here from Verizon? Okay.
No.
No,
Cablevision.
I mean Cablevision, I'm sorry, I keep saying Verizon.
Surprise, we're changing it.
That's it.
We moved the public
We
hearing
moved
to
it.
later in the meeting.
We'll move
since
it,
you
we're
were here
almost
at
there
7.
for that. And Daniel's not here. Mr. Ferranti, anything on Lake Environmental or Library?
Nope, I was just going to say that the lake is opened, and in regards to the library, they have a lot of events going on in the summer, including movie nights, crafts for kids, lots of events for adults too, so check out their website for the calendars.
Thank you,
John.
Mr. Stewart. Oh, I'm
John,
sorry.
has the library implemented, remember, that suggestion to kind of teach seniors how?
Oh yeah, let me follow up with that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Stewart, anything on economic or community
Yeah,
action?
we've had 2 meetings at EDC. We've agreed to reinstate with cooperation of the Mount Olive Area Chamber, the Executive Council, which will be meeting quarterly. So it'll be a special meeting with the EDC, the Morris County EDC, with the chief executive officers or lead executive of all of the big companies in the area. And then, so that's going on. And then the next one will be this month. There's another one. So monthly, the EDC here is meeting, and it's linked up with the Morris County EDC now.
Good.
And then on the other one is the Community Action Panel. We had a wrap-up meeting for the pre-summer. Next meeting will be in September because we reviewed the successful event that we had in June.
Thank you. Mrs. Labow, anything on Open Space, Board of Health, or Stigma?
Yes, Open Space, we met last night, and one of our members, David Alexander, he's been working with a couple of the Boy Scout troops, Boy Scouts in particular, working on their Eagle Scout and how do you say that, Cossacks? How do you say that word, the signs? Cossacks?
Kiosks.
Kiosks, thank you. Anyway, they're up and in several locations, and also we have plastic covering that's going to be put on them. And we have another scout who's looking for a project, and we're going to have him hopefully install the punions in some of the trail areas that we have. So that's all good news. And also, we discussed the stormwater regulations in the video that we all watched this past
Yes.
week, the stormwater. And it had not been passed on to the Open Space Committee. They, it was we were required and the planning board was required, so I sent that link off also to our Open Space so that they could review it also. Very informative. And for the Board of Health, I wasn't able to go to the meeting because I was recuperating from my stent procedure. So and I don't have anything to report tonight on the stigma-free, except that I try to post every day on the site and hope people, get some kind of positive influence and reinforcement from it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Maney, anything on legislative or planning?
Planning, our last meeting, there was an extension denied for ARD Mount Olive Associates. They are the former owners of the property Morris Chase. The extensions were denied because they live in Florida now, and they really don't think it's important to do anything in Jersey right now. So the board took the position, we're not giving you an extension. We had-
John, does that in any way open us up to litigation?
No, well, I'm sure they may.
Okay.
It's a possibility.
Does that mean their proposal, their project is done now, since they didn't, because
Well, it goes back many years.
yeah.
The property was wet and they couldn't build on it, so they decided to wait till the property dried out to make those lots available.
But now it's Highlands.
Pardon?
It's Highlands Preservation now.
Only if their extension is not applicable. They get the protection. That is the whole issue that was before the board. Once their once their extension expires, their protections under whatever approvals they got originally expire.
So since they didn't get their extension,
It's
if
going to be
they,
a litigated issue.
yeah, okay, no, can't, no.
And then we had two development matters. One was a relief for a side yard setback on Corey Road, and the other was Buka Associates, which is the Bud Lake Diner. We had to adjourn that to August 16th because one of the residents within 200 feet was not notified.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Roman, anything on Rec or Pride?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Now we're going to go into the, I'll introduce Marilyn Davis, the Area Director of Government Affairs, and we're going to have a public hearing on the Cablevision.
Franchise.
What's that?
Franchise?
The franchise renewal.
Oh, French, I'm sorry, yeah, I was reading there. The CSC TKR LLC, Cablevision of Morris, in regard to the renewal of its municipal consent and construct and operate a cable television system in the township. Ms. Davis, if you would go up to the podium there and state your name, just state your name and then, and title, and Michelle will swear you in for the record.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Marilyn Davis with Altice USA.
Okay, I'm just going to swear you in for the record. If you could just raise your right hand and repeat after me, or just, you can just say yes or no. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This is my first hearing.
Okay.
Yes, and you're welcome to, at this time, give us a presentation, discuss your application, et cetera.
Sure. Okay. Hi. Again, I'm Marilyn Davis. I'm with Altice USA. I'm the Area Director for Government Affairs. So I oversee all the government affairs activities in the state of New Jersey for Altice USA. So some of you may know, 2 years ago, Altice USA purchased Cablevision. Altice USA initially was a multinational corporation. As of June of this year, the company separated from its parent company and is now a total U.S.-based company. Cablevision previously was located in, I'm having a brain freeze, Long Island, but has now relocated to Queens. The company Altice USA has relocated to Queens, and we're located in Long Island City, Queens. So the company has been aggressively, transitioning from Cablevision to Altice USA. Some of the things that we're doing as a company is we're upgrading our entire network throughout our system. Our system is now in 21 states. We're upgrading our network from what is currently, we're now at 350 megabytes per second to, will ultimately be 10G. So we've heard from customers that the broadband service has been slow, and so the new company is in the process of upgrading our network. Here in New Jersey, we're in about 175 towns, give or take. And so we're aggressively embarking on a 5-year project, which started last year in 2017. As far as the franchise renewal, I'm not sure what else to say about that other than it just allows us to operate in the town.
Mr. Roman?
You say that you have an aggressive renewal?
Aggressive upgrade, network upgrade.
I'm sorry, aggressive upgrade. When would this aggressiveness hit Mount Olive Township?
So Mount Olive is not on the 2019 list, 2018 list, which is the one I'm working on right now. But I can certainly find out the timing for Mount Olive. But this is a 5-year project that started in 2017, so we're in our 2nd year now.
Now, is Altice considering doing any partnerships with any municipalities to provide free Wi-Fi service for areas, as I've seen some other companies throughout the United States, where pilot programs? Is there anything in the works for that?
Everything's negotiable.
Then let's negotiate. So there is nothing right now that your company currently is partnering with any township at all to provide any free public Wi-Fi?
Everything is negotiable. So I would assume after this meeting, when we talk to Michelle, is it Andrew?
Andrew, yeah, he's not here this evening. But yes.
Michelle and Andrew, you guys will provide us with what your asks are, and then we'll negotiate.
All right, thank you.
And I just wanted to confirm, because the administrator was not able to attend tonight, but he did represent to me that he had spoken to you about the possibility of discounts for both senior citizens and disabled residents. and also about a $25,000 technology grant. And I just wanted to confirm on the record that that is under consideration.
I believe 2 of 3 are under consideration. I don't recall, and Michelle, you can correct me about the disabled, because I'm not sure if we have a program for disabled individuals specifically.
I did take notes. I know the one was definite, they were going to take that into consideration. I know with the grant, it was.
The grant is fine,
It
but
was
not fine, but the grant's up for
25,000,
negotiations.
and Andrew had also asked, I guess there were 2 previous years, and he wanted to look into getting those back as well.
We're confirming that.
And I believe it was Rob, was it Rob?
Rob.
Who was on your call? He had said when we submit everything, to just go ahead and ask for that, and, you know, to write him a letter going for the 25 plus the 2 years back, just do it initially, don't, you know, all at once.
So Councilwoman Sharp,
The attorney.
Township
Attorney.
attorney.
I'm
sorry.
asking on behalf of the administrator because
Don't
he
insult
couldn't
her
be
like
here
that.
tonight.
so we definitely have a program for seniors, but it is income-based. I think it's associated with, what is the, is it, the utility program, is it LAHEAP? I think it's LAHEAP. I don't know. We do have an income-based program for seniors. I don't recall whether we have one for disabled individuals, but certainly if there's an individual, regardless of whether they're disabled or not, that meet the income threshold, we do have programs for individuals who need assistance. And the grant, again, is part of the negotiation process.
Ms. Laybaugh?
Yes. Is there a program for vets as well, veterans?
I don't think we have a program for veterans, but we can confirm as we go through the negotiation
Yeah, if we
process.
could
But I
check
don't
into
think so.
that.
Yeah, Rob indicated on the call that no, there was
Oh,
no
really?
program at this
Oh.
time for veterans, and there was a discount for seniors. That was a statutory discount, if I'm
Yes,
correct.
I think it's associated with LAHEAP, but we do have an income-based program. We have an economy internet program for individuals who are on SSI, not SSDI.
And this is also an opportunity for anyone from the public to ask questions as well, if you'd like
If
to.
anyone has any questions for Cablevision, they're welcome to get up and ask. If not, you have to go up there, Rachel. No, you have to go, you gotta go up and state your name and
Name, address, blood type.
the usual.
Rachel Marlowe, 39 Oakwood Village, Apartment 5. So if the individual is on SSI, then they per se would be disabled, right? So that
Rachel? Rachel?
Oh, you have to talk into this.
into the microphone.
If you talk into the mic, she'll be able to hear you, and then we'll be able to hear you as well.
No, because SSI is an income-based program for people who are disabled.
SSDI is for individuals who are disabled.
You need to come up to the
Yeah, we need-
microphone as well. We can't hear.
I'm not an expert when it comes to Social Security, but I believe SSDI is for individuals who are, so it's called Social Security Disability Insurance. So that is not the qualification program. It's SSI that qualifies you for our low-income program.
The low-income program for under SSI is for people who are disabled. So I think that anybody who's disabled and is also low income would be covered under that program. The SSDI is based on your retirement income. You can also get that program if you are disabled. However, you have to have work credits to obtain it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We'll look at that as well when we. Does anyone else have any questions? You just go up, you have to
I
just.
have to go up?
Yeah, you gotta go up, state your name and address.
I is an SSI, that's all.
Yeah, I know, you need to.
Insurance?
You need to state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Mr. Capone, Elizabeth Lane. We're new to the meeting, so we're learning the lingo. So what is, I know Social Security, but what does the I stand for? Anybody
What
know?
is it?
Sure.
It's supplemental security income.
Income.
Income. There you go.
She just looked it up on her iPad.
Supplemental-
All right.
Supplemental.
That's it, thank you.
Social Security.
That was easy, Paul.
Income.
Income. Income. Thank you, we all learned something. Anyone else have any questions for Cablevision while they're here? Ms. Davis, you can get back, we can, there you go. I don't think there's anyone else from council have anything else at this point?
Nope.
If not, then we have nothing else, and thank you for being here.
It's my understanding is that today is just a hearing, and then we'll
Correct.
begin the negotiation process, and then that will come back to the
Correct.
council and you present that.
Yep, we'll get in touch with the VA, right.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll just close the hearing on the Cablevision contract. All right, we're down to public portion. Does anyone from the public wish to be heard at this time? Seeing none, close to the public. Any council comments? Mr. Ferrante?
Nothing tonight.
Mrs. Lebow?
I just want to say, everybody enjoy the carnival this week, the festivities. It is a very exciting time for Mount Olive. That's it.
Mr. Mania?
Just want to say to Colleen, welcome back,
Oh, thank you.
and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Stewart?
Just two other reminders for folks. August 7th, National Night Out, and then August 11th, up at the park is the Veterans Summerfest for homeless veterans.
Thank you. Mr. Roman?
Nothing to report.
And I have nothing to report. So with that, do we have a motion?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everyone, for